The banana looks ordinary, yet its hidden history connects ancient farmers, global empires, scientific crises, and our breakfast tables.
Every supermarket banana carries a journey thousands of years long, beginning far from the farms that supply us today.
Despite its height, a banana plant is not a tree. It is the world's largest flowering herb.
What appears to be a trunk is a pseudostem, built from overlapping leaf bases packed tightly together. Botanically, the banana is a berry, produced from a flower on a plant with no true wooden trunk. Wild bananas barely resemble the soft fruit we know. Their flesh is crowded with large, hard seeds.
Long ago, people noticed unusual plants that produced sweeter flesh with few seeds, making them far easier to eat.
Because these plants were often sterile, farmers copied them by moving shoots, called suckers, from one garden to another.
Cloning created reliable harvests, but genetic sameness also planted a weakness that would return centuries.
To understand that bargain, we must travel back to the rain-soaked landscapes where banana cultivation first took shape.
The banana story begins across Southeast Asia and the Western Pacific, a region filled with remarkable wild musa diversity.
Here, many wild relatives evolved in humid forests, each adapted to different islands, soils, and rainfall patterns. Two important ancestors, Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana, contributed much of the genetic foundation of cultivated bananas.
Their wild fruits offered starch and flesh, but eating them meant working around seeds nearly as hard as pebbles.
Foragers likely recognized plants with softer fruit, fewer seeds, or useful shoots, then protected them near their homes.
At Cook Swamp, archaeological evidence points to banana cultivation roughly 7,000 years ago, among the world's early farming traditions. Farmers managed water with ditches and cultivated plots, turning difficult wetlands into productive gardens.
We select the best, generation after generation. This one is ready.
Domestication was not one sudden invention. It was a network of crossings, selections, and exchanges across many communities. The decisive breakthrough was seedlessness, a natural accident that humans recognized, preserved, and multiplied. Some bananas could develop fruit without normal fertilization, a process known as parthenocarpy. Many cultivated bananas also became triploid, carrying 3 chromosome sets and producing little or no viable seed.
You need a strong one. Try this.
Thank you. We will cherish it.
Each sucker became a genetic copy, preserving desirable flavor, texture, and harvest timing with extraordinary consistency. Early bananas were not simply sweet snacks. Many were cooked, roasted, boiled, dried, or ground into nourishing food.
The plant offered more than fruit. Its broad leaves became wrappers, serving surfaces, roofing material, and ritual objects.
Fibers from different banana relatives could be twisted into rope, mats, baskets, and textiles.
Where people traveled, useful banana varieties traveled with them, carried as living pieces of home.
That portability helped turn the banana from a forest plant into one of humanity's great traveling crops. Bananas moved with skilled seafarers who connected islands long before modern maps or engines existed.
The birds lead us, the waves guide us. This is how we carry the knowledge of the stars and the currents.
Bananas traveled as part of a portable agricultural system, alongside other plants essential for new settlements. A successful planting could quickly create shade, food, and familiar tastes in an unfamiliar landscape. Other routes carried bananas west toward India, where diverse climates and farming cultures encouraged further selection. The monsoon system linked ports on a repeating calendar, allowing merchants and crops to move with seasonal winds.
Excellent quality, my friend. We'll trade spices for these. The harvest was plentiful this year. These bananas are the finest.
Westward travelers brought bananas into new agricultural traditions,
where irrigation and garden knowledge kept tropical plants alive.
The maritime connections also carried Asian crops toward Madagascar and the African coast, reshaping diets far from their origins.
The ocean was not a barrier. In Africa, bananas became far more than an imported curiosity. They became foundations of farming, cuisine, and community. Early arrivals likely entered through eastern coastal networks, then moved inland through exchange and migration.
The humid highlands around the Great Lakes offered ideal conditions for year-round banana cultivation.
Cooking bananas supplied dependable starch, especially where sweet dessert fruit mattered less than a filling daily meal. They could be steamed, mashed, roasted, or simmered, becoming central to meals across many regions. Some communities also fermented banana beverages, creating products used in hospitality, exchange, and ceremony.
Look at this. Its skin is so firm, but the color promises sweetness.
Yes.
We select for the sweet ones near the...
Banana gardens shaped settlement itself, offering food, shade, moisture, and a living boundary around family homes. Over centuries, bananas spread across tropical Africa through local trade routes, marriages, migrations, and farming knowledge.
By then, the banana was no longer foreign. It had become deeply rooted in African history and identity.
Trade and expanding garden cultures carried bananas through the Middle East and parts of the Mediterranean world.
In hot regions, skilled irrigation made it possible to cultivate a tropical plant beyond its natural forest environment.
Travelers described the fruit with fascination, often comparing its shape, sweetness, or leaves to more familiar plants.
In some cities, bananas appeared in markets and elite gardens, though they remained limited by climate and transport.
Northern Europe was too cold for outdoor cultivation, making bananas rare, delicate, and expensive curiosities.
During Atlantic expansion, banana plants reached the Canary Islands, where subtropical conditions supported commercial cultivation.
The islands became a crucial bridge between older African and Mediterranean routes and the emerging Atlantic world. From this state,
For many Europeans, the fruit remained exotic, known through travel stories long before it became everyday food.
the next transformation would bind bananas to colonization, forced labor, plantations, and a rapidly expanding Atlantic economy.
The ships of Spain and Portugal carried banana plants across the Atlantic, sowing the seeds of a new era.
The Caribbean climate suited the crop, allowing bananas to establish quickly around settlements and estates. Bananas also grew within societies shaped by enslavement, where food production and survival depended heavily on coerced labor.
Outside export fields, people cultivated bananas as practical food in gardens, villages, and local markets.
The plant spread through Brazil, the Caribbean, and Central America, adapting to many local cuisines and landscapes.
Different communities preserved different varieties, from starchy cooking types to fragrant fruits eaten fresh.
For centuries, most bananas traveled only short distances, feeding nearby populations rather than distant consumers.
The fruit was valuable, but its softness and rapid ripening made long-distance commerce difficult. Without fast transport and careful timing, a shipment could become worthless before reaching its buyer. Then steam power, railways, and corporate finance changed the scale of the banana trade forever.
Arriving from the tropics, these are bananas.
Never seen anything like it.
They are sweet and delicious, a rare treat.
Importers raced against ripening, storms, mechanical failures, and market prices that could change before a vessel arrived.
Success depended on speed, information, and the ability to coordinate farms, ships, ports, and city wholesalers.
At public exhibitions, bananas were presented as exotic wonders from distant tropical lands.
Just imagine.
Advertising transformed the fruit into a symbol of health, sunshine, convenience, and modern abundance.
As supply grew, bananas moved from elite tables into neighborhood shops and ordinary household kitchens.
Their natural wrapper, soft texture, and sweetness made bananas especially easy to market to families and children.
Corporate scale lowered consumer prices, making a tropical fruit cheaper and more familiar than many local fruits. Within decades, a rare novelty became an everyday habit. But cheapness hid the power behind the supply chain. The modern banana was built not only in fields, but through an enormous machine of transport and timing. Railways connected plantations to harbors, turning previously remote land into export territory. Docks, warehouses, telegraphs, and shipping schedules became as important to profit as soil and rain.
Green bananas, a race against time before they ripen.
At destination markets, specialized rooms controlled temperature and ripening, so fruit could reach stores at the right moment. Purpose-built ships improved ventilation, speed, and cargo handling, reducing losses during long tropical voyages.
Regular fleets created a dependable weekly flow, training consumers to expect bananas in every season.
Companies gained control by owning not just fruit, but land, railways, ports, communications, and shipping.
Entire towns and regional economies were redesigned around the needs of one highly perishable crop.
Efficiency created abundance, but it also made countries and workers dangerously dependent on a few powerful corporations.
By the end of the 19th century, banana companies were becoming political forces as well as businesses. In 1899, major fruit and railway interests combined to form the United Fruit Company. The governments granted land and privileges in exchange for railways, The company accumulated an integrated network that could dominate production, transport, communication, and export markets.
With that infrastructure came influence over taxation, labor policy, land decisions, and national politics. The phrase banana republic came to describe states whose economies and politics were distorted by foreign fruit interests.
Profits often traveled abroad, while producing regions carried the risks of disease, debt, and dependence.
The terms are non-negotiable. Consider the benefits.
We've heard this before. It exploits our people. You have no other choice.
Consumers saw affordable fruit, rarely seeing the land deals and coercive systems that helped keep prices low.
The banana trade depended on thousands of workers, whose labor remained mostly invisible to distant consumers.
Harvesting was demanding, repetitive work performed in heat, mud, rain, and constant pressure to protect delicate fruit.
In many company zones, employers influenced housing, stores, transport, medical services, and the terms of everyday life.
This is it, our chance. We'll sign together.
It's worth the risk for better wages.
Yes, let's do this.
In Colombia in 1928, a major strike brought workers, the company, and the government into a dangerous confrontation. Government troops opened fire on gathered strikers, creating a national trauma whose exact death toll remains disputed. The event became known as the Banana Massacre, remembered as a symbol of corporate power and state violence. Its memory later entered journalism, political debate, and literature, including the imaginative world of Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
The low price of fruit has always carried costs, measured not only in money, but in human lives and dignity. For decades, the export industry centered on one famous variety, Gros Michel, often called Big Mike.
Its thick skin and firm texture survived rough handling and long journeys better than many alternatives.
Consumers remembered it as rich and aromatic, while companies valued its strength and predictable shipping performance. Panama disease, caused by a soil-borne fusarium fungus, attacked roots and blocked the plant's water-carrying tissues. Once inside, the fungus caused yellowing, wilting, and eventual collapse, while remaining hidden in contaminated soil. Across Latin America, productive fields became unusable as the disease spread through soil, water, tools, and planting material. Companies often responded by abandoning infected land and opening new plantations, spreading environmental and social disruption.
By the mid-20th century, the export system faced a crisis that scale and money could not simply overpower.
To keep the global trade alive, the industry needed a replacement resistant to the disease destroying Big Mike.
The answer came from the Cavendish Group, whose history included plants grown in an English greenhouse during the 19th century.
Cavendish bananas resisted the strain of Panama disease, then devastating Gros Michel plantations.
That resistance made Cavendish the most practical candidate for rebuilding the export industry.
Companies converted plantations on an extraordinary scale, replacing one clone-dominated system with another.
Cavendish fruit was more delicate, so harvesting, packing, and shipping methods had to change.
Boxed hands, controlled temperatures, and improved logistics allowed the new variety to travel successfully.
By the late 20th century, Cavendish had become the standard banana, recognized by millions of consumers.
But commercial Cavendish plants were also propagated as clones, preserving uniformity while narrowing genetic defenses.
The industry solved one epidemic without abandoning the risky model that had made the first disaster so severe.
Eventually, a new strain of the old enemy emerged, capable of attacking Cavendish itself.
The supermarket banana is only one member of a far larger and more colorful family.
More than 1,000 banana varieties exist worldwide, shaped by generations of cultivation and local preference.
Some are sweet desserts, others are staple starches cooked, fried, steamed, roasted, or processed into flour.
For hundreds of millions of people, bananas and plantains are food security, not simply a snack. Most bananas are consumed within producing countries, even though export fruit receives far more international attention. Latin America remains central to international banana exports, supported by highly organized plantation and shipping systems.
A cheap retail price depends on a complex chain operating with little time and narrow margins. Behind every bunch stand growers, laborers, technicians, drivers, dock workers, ripeners, wholesalers, and retailers.
Fairer trade, safer labor, reduced chemical use, and better environmental practices remain ongoing challenges rather than finished achievements.
Few foods make the hidden connections of our global economy more visible than the banana. Today, Cavendish faces tropical race 4, or TR4, a highly destructive form of fusarium wilt.
The fungus enters through roots, blocks water transport, and can kill susceptible plants without harming people who eat the fruit.
It can travel in soil and water, and once established, it may remain in the ground for decades.
After spreading through several regions, TR4 reached Latin America, the center of the export banana system.
Climate stress adds further pressure by changing rainfall, increasing extreme weather, and weakening already vulnerable production systems.
Quarantine, sanitation, careful water management, and early detection can slow spread, but none offers a simple cure.
Notice the resistance here. Yes, the leaf texture is promising. And the fruit shows resilience to the blight. We should mark this one.
Scientists are also testing tissue culture, genetic engineering, and gene editing to protect useful varieties.
A safer future may require retailers and consumers to accept more varieties instead of demanding one perfect clone. The banana survived its first industrial collapse. Its next survival may depend on diversity, fairness, and remembering the lessons of history.